Oh, hey everybody. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the fine folks over at AS Engineering Services. You can reach them at 631-560-0259 or on the web at www.asengineeringservices.com. They are a full-scale engineering architectural firm. Give them a call if you guys are looking to start a project or you're in the middle of a project, you need a new architect, you need a new engineer, you need something done better than what you have, or you're just starting out scratch, you know where to go. Hit them up, check them out. They will design you the dopest shit around. Just get in touch with them. Go on the website, check out some of their projects. Again, that's 631-560-0259. Cannot recommend these guys enough. They are fantastic workers and just magnificent craftsmen. Give them a call. You're looking to do residential, commercial, whatever you're doing, they will hook you up. We also brought to you by Mr. Eric Ott over at RCG Mortgage. You could give Eric a call or shoot him a text at 631-774-1783. Besides being an amazing podcast host, he is also a magician with the mortgages. Woo-wee! You got questions, you're a first-time home buyer, you are refinancing, give him a call. Talk to him. He will answer all your questions. He will get you pre-approved. He will set you up and make sure it is as smooth of a process as possible. Again, that's 631-774-1783. And then last but not least, the fine folks over at Municipal Land Survey. You can reach them at 631-345-2658. Say you just bought a new house. You need to get a survey done on it. You're doing a new project with your business. You need that survey done. These are the guys to call. Uber professional. Just meticulous with their detail. They are tops. They serve the great state of New York, doing anything residential, commercial, whatever you guys are looking to do, whatever you need a land survey for, they are the guys to call. All right, guys, this episode of the podcast, we have Marcelo Garcia Black Belt, Jon Satava on. Jon is an awesome dude. He's known D-Rock and Eric for a while. I've only met him a few times, but I can say that he is definitely an awesome guy. He is a world champion level black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he is also getting ready to open his school in Patchogue, which D-Rock and I got a sneak peek at, and it looks fucking dope. Alright guys, we're going to get into this episode. It's real interesting. Jon's an awesome guy, and I hope you enjoyed as much as we did. We're live. Let's get into it.
Borough podcast. D-Rock,
Yarbs, Eric,
and our guest,
Jonathan Satava.
the elusive Jonathan Satava. I got to break your balls a little bit right away, just to get it out of the way.
Okay.
Because I've known Jon for a real long time, but I wouldn't say we're like super tight. But we're friends.
He's like, how dare you?
When I first started the podcast, I tried to get him on, and then when I finally got you booked, a couple things fell through, so I was breaking his balls the other day, and I realized, after I hit send, I'm like, oh, fuck, man. He might not know I'm kidding. So, I you responded well, you know me well enough to know I'm kind of a ball breaker, so you knew. Yeah. But I was like, I had that, pause moment. I was like, oh, I hope he knows I'm kidding.
Oh man, no, it was fine. I knew you were joking. Yeah. I was just like, man, how could this guy? They canceled on me one time.
But no, man, it's good. I'm glad, man, because we've been, I know you. First of all, thank you, because I know you have a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, no problem.
And it's cool, man. I'm glad we finally got you on. And
yeah.
For motherfuckers that don't know, Jon is Marcelo Garcia Black Belt, but not just a black belt, fucking world class, world champion black belt. Who
trying?
You've won a lot of prestigious tournaments and titles already, but you just recently won the East Coast trials for the ADCCs. Which is fucking. Is that the biggest one for you, or do you think winning the Nogi Pans?
I don't know. It's definitely up there. I think so. I think this one got me a lot of attention at Black Belt. So that's it's hard to measure, but yeah, I think it's up there for sure.
For those that don't know, the ADCCs is the Abu Dhabi Combat Club, and it's essentially the Olympics of submission grappling.
Yeah.
I think that's like the best way to probably frame it, right?
Yeah, I mean, some people think it's more prestigious because it only happens every 2 years versus the other tournaments that happen every year, kind of a thing. So, from that perspective, I think that's right.
Yeah, and
it also is a little bit of a different point structure.
Yeah.
Than other, and I feel like it leaves the viewers or the fan a little bit more settled with the results.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of an aggressive style because all submissions are legal, slams are legal.
Yeah.
Guard pulling, I believe, it's penalized.
Yeah, in the points period and in the finals, it's penalized. Yeah.
So it's a lot more of an aggressive style, and
a lot more of an emphasis on actually submitting your opponent, as opposed to just like winning by points or advantages.
Just keeping position.
Yeah.
Also, I think the what I've heard is that essentially, like, you win the ADCCs, you're set. Like it's so prestigious that essentially you've just kind of cashed your ticket to like a real future in jiu-jitsu. Like you're gonna be booking seminars and really.
Yeah, I think that's true, and they give a big prize. I don't know if it's 15,000 or 20,000, but they give a big prize if you win too. So that's like a down payment on a house, So
that's nice.
Yeah.
So I first heard about you years ago. I met a kid named Mike Brankert. Shout out to Mike Brankert. And he ranted and raved about you. And then I remember you came down to Vamos and we trained. I was like, yeah, that kid's good. And I remember you were a blue belt and you beat a black belt in the tournament. And I remember one thing, and this is what I find real impressive. And I always knew that the person you are wasn't like a front because you're a real humble dude. And it's not like fake humility. But I remember Mike telling me that you won this tournament, you submitted a black belt, and people were like, bro, do you know what you just did? And you're like, I don't even want to know. You're like, I don't want to know. I don't want to get wrapped up in it. I just want to keep getting better and shit like that. And I'm like, wow. Like, that's pretty impressive.
Thanks, man.
So
yeah, I don't know. It's just I remember that tournament, and I remember even before the fight, like I didn't even know like the guy's rank or whatever, because that's just the way I was at the time. That's the way I competed. I'd rather just go in there, focus on my game, focus on what I want to do, and not worry about the other guy so much. So afterwards, I just felt the same way,
Yeah, I think that's impressive, man. So all right, how old are you?
Oh man, I should have put that in the restricted.
Oh
no, just kidding.
You're the youngest person in the room.
I'm 29.
29. Okay.
Oh,
yeah, you're young. So give a quick background. I mean, I gave a somewhat of an introduction, but like, talk about like how old you were when you got started, and like, what's been going on, because you're a full-time jiu-jitsu guy. You don't do anything else. You packed up your shit, off to the city. Take the wheel. Take the wheel.
So I think I started jiu-jitsu when I was 18 at Stony Brook University. There was a club there, and I think you guys had on Krishna before on the podcast. So I started with him at the time. I think he was a pro bub, but a great teacher. And then I guess 3 years in, a little less than 3 years maybe, I decided to take it more seriously and take my talents to South Beach. No, I'm just kidding.
Jon Satava.
And no, I went and I tried a couple places to train at, and just kind of fell in love with the environment at Marcelo's, and the fact that my first day there, Marcelo trained with me and took the time to talk to me after class was a big deal for me.
You and Marcelo, I feel like, are the perfect match too, because you have a very similar demeanor. You're also like one of the happiest guys I've ever met. So is Marcelo.
maybe I get it from him too. He's my teacher, so I try to learn from him as much as I can. So, but yeah, went to Marcelo's probably, like I said, like almost 3 years in, and I've been there ever since. Thankfully, I was in the right place at the right time and had the opportunity to grow as the school grew, and yeah.
You came up with what's the term that they had for you guys? The golden era brown
Yeah,
belts or something like that.
yeah.
It was you, Mancher,
Yeah.
Mateus,
Yeah.
Gianni,
Yeah.
and Dylan.
Yep, and Marcos.
Oh, and Marco Tinoco,
Yep,
right?
Tinoco. Yep. Yeah, I think that
I
was
mean,
most
amongst
of-
the other savages.
And
that
there's
are there.
Joel too. Yeah, it's so funny. It's that we have so many good guys. So it's you're almost always going to leave somebody out. It's just the way it is. But yeah, that's what at least people said. Like some people called like the dream team, the golden era. I think BJJ Heroes has on it or something. So yeah.
So you moved, and what was the plan? It was just jiu-jitsu, or like did it kind of like, did you have this plan already, or did it kind of just present itself, like, or did you know like, this is what I'm doing? I'm not going to college. I'm not, you know,
Yeah.
this is all I'm doing.
It was a process to kind of take that step forward and make the decision, like, and say like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I remember when I was a blue belt, I competed at this one tournament and I ended up losing like my second or third match to some kid who ended up winning the trip to Abu Dhabi. This is the gi tournament, it's not the no gi tournament that we spoke about before. And I barely lost to the kid, and I was just like, I can beat him if I train more. Like, and that should be me going to Abu Dhabi, not him. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm still competitive, but
Clearly, you haven't let that go yet.
so
Do you remember his name?
I don't remember his name. Man, I remember what he looked like, though. I'll never forget his face. So, I wonder if he's still training, though. But anyway.
Bet you he's not going to be at the ADCC.
No, I don't think he is. But I don't know. With the West Coast trials, maybe I don't know. Anyway. So I think that tournament was actually on a Sunday. They did the tournament on a Sunday for some reason. And the next day I had school, right? And I was just like, man, like, fuck this. I'm not going. And I just like grabbed my bag and went to go train instead. And then, I just got to the point where I was just like kind of at a point where in college where I was trying to figure out like what I want to do with my life, and I was jumping around from major to major. And eventually I was just like, okay, instead of trying to find a means to jiu-jitsu, let's just try jiu-jitsu. And, I took a chance. I had some money saved up, thankfully. Like I worked in the pizzeria and things like this. So I had some money saved up, and I was just like, let me just see how far this gets me. And, like I said, I was in the right place at the right time, like pretty much just about when I was running out of money and just
About to start turning tricks.
yeah, just about when I was running out of money. I also needed a surgery on my knee. Like Marcel had asked me, like, oh, do you want to, I have an apartment in the city that the guys stay at. When you get back from your surgery, you can stay there, and, we'll have you start assisting classes and stuff like that. And I think he also at the time, this was when he was like, and I'll pay for you to go to the big tournaments for the year.
Oh, shit.
And I was just like, yeah, like, it was like serendipitous, whatever you want to call it. And, so I was just fortunate to have him. I owe him a lot. So, yeah.
You got put on the team right there, basically, right? I mean, that's
Pretty much. I honestly, at the time, there wasn't a team. That's the thing that was crazy. I was, I'm not to say I was there first, but I was there first. Like, it was like me and.
So he was starting to assemble the team, and you got picked.
Yeah. The other guys came, like, for example, like Mateos didn't get his brown belt from Marcelo. Marcos didn't get his brown belt from Marcelo. Johnny didn't get his brown belt from Marcelo. Right? Dylan didn't get his brown belt from Marcelo. Like, Munchie was the one who went from white to black. I went from blue to black. Right? And there was a couple others too. But like I said, out of that, like, that golden era, that dream team, whatever you want to call it, like, we were there for me and Munchie. I guess it was. We were there for like a long time, you know.
Yeah. When did you start with Marcel? What year was it?
2000 and end of 2010. It's been 8 years there, I think.
Wow.
So yeah.
So you end up there, and then the rest is history. You've gotten your black belt, and you've won a bunch of. I mean, you won major tournaments at every belt, because I remember you would come in. I remember one time in particular, you came to Vamos and trained with me in Spain. Shout out to Spain, and you were getting ready for the Nogi Worlds.
That's
and
right.
it was like one of your last training sessions, and it was just like
That's right.
it was just me, you, and him, and we trained for a couple hours.
That's right.
And I remember you telling me like something had happened. I think you were moving in actually to the apartments. You're like, I'm going up a weight class actually because I haven't been able to cut the weight. I'm just going to compete at this weight. And you're like, I just want to get some hard training in. We trained for like a good hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I remember watching you in Spain fucking go at it in one of the last rounds. And I remember watching and being like, holy shit, these guys are fucking like, it was like a competition round.
Yeah.
And then you flew out and you won the Nogi Worlds at Purple Belt. And that's when I was like, this motherfucker's the real deal. Like, I knew you were good, but I was like, Jon, like, I'm like, this guy's, he's doing it. Like,
Thanks,
you're going to
man.
be.
Thank you.
And so now you won the Nogi Worlds from purple to black, right?
No, so I won purple. I won my division purple belt, and I got second absolute purple belt. And I remember it wasn't my apartment that we were moving. It was that was when Marcel's got flooded, so we didn't have a place to train.
That's right.
And we were like all over. I literally didn't have a place to train actually for like a while, and it was like really uplifting to be able to do well that tournament, for that reason. But I won as a brown belt too, and black belt. I haven't won yet. I've taken second twice.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't won Nogi Worlds yet at black belt. I missed it this.
Get out of here. Turn his mic off.
Yeah, so that's hopefully it gets accomplished.
You'll get it done, bro.
Thanks, dude.
I believe that. And so, so let's talk about the other big news now that's led to this moment. You're coming back home.
Yeah, back home.
And go ahead, take the wheel.
So yeah, I've always kept my relationships here. Always kept my roots here. The guys used to tease me because most weekends I would come back home to Long Island or whatever because I just enjoyed my family. I enjoyed getting away from the city. The city is like such a crazy energy to it, right? It feels like you're at a carnival. Yeah,
there's no break, there's no in between. It's just you're going all the time.
Yeah, you feel like you're on a carnival ride and you can't get off. That's the way I describe it. And so that was kind of my escape, and so I always loved it here. I prefer the lifestyle here, and so yeah, I guess after 11 years of doing jiu-jitsu now, I'm gonna open my own school in my hometown in Patchogue, right on Main Street, right around everything. So I couldn't have picked it or dreamed of a better spot. It's near the train station, about a 7-minute walk. The ferries are right there to go to the beach after training on the weekends or something like this, and it's right on the strip of Main Street. So all the shops, the restaurants, the boutiques, right there. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's a fucking primetime spot too. I mean, especially it's crazy because when you left, Patchogue was just turning into the fucking crazy powerhouse that it is now.
I remember coming home, like I was talking to you guys about, so what was it, from 2011, maybe end of 2010, but I remember coming home, and it seemed like from 2011 to now, there was something new popping up every weekend. Yeah, it was crazy. I literally saw it change from a ghost town to what it is now, and I'm proud of it.
We used to get weird looks. You tell people you're from Patchogue, and they give you a weird look. They're like, "Isn't that where they kill immigrants? You're from there?"
It's like the ghost town. When I went to college at St. Joseph's, we would be like, "Oh, where do you want to go grab lunch today?" And you would drive through the town of Patchogue, the entire town, to TJ's Heroes, because
that's funny.
All there was a pizza place, or maybe one or two pizza places, and that was it.
Yeah, and a brick house and a couple of pizza places, and that was really all Nothing else was around. Everything was fucking closed. Such a fucking shithole for a while.
Which when I was thinking about this the other day, actually, you got to give credit to Gino's Pizza. That's the one place that's been open through everything.
That's so true, actually.
I was thinking about that the other day. Like, how the fuck did this place stay open?
That's so true. That's so true.
And now they got to be so happy because they're fucking prime time.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
totally.
dude,
That's funny. That's a good point.
I didn't even realize it till the other day. We were walking to go get an acai bowl, and I'm like, you walk down that alley, it just smells so good.
Yeah,
I'm like,
because they got the back door open.
Yeah.
Like, it smells
I'm
like
just
fucking garlic nuts and pizza.
Is that women's bathing suit store still there?
Blums. Yeah, Blums.
Yeah,
Because
Blums has been there for.
They've been there forever too. Like I don't know how on earth a women's bathing suit store can stay open.
So
Well,
apparently
it's-
it's because it's for it's for the big girls.
Well, it's not just for big girls. It's just for girls with big tits.
Oh, is that really
Yeah,
it?
that's really what it is. Because they have like.
You guys wanna- you want to go to Blums?
Well, yeah, let's go. But they do like it's not just bathing suits. It's like bras and lingerie and shit like that.
Oh, okay. I've never been in there.
Me
so-
neither.
Because they
Had I have known, I might have.
I feel like
my ex-girlfriend.
some of those places, like, I wonder if they own the property or something like that. Because some of those shops, they still don't make sense there now.
Oh, I
you
know. I know.
Well, I think Blums is grandfathered in because they've been there so long.
But they're always busy. There's always people
They do
in there.
business.
Yeah, they do business. So them I understand. Some of those other places, like there's that little Spanish bodega over there. I'm like, how the fuck is this place? It's like right next to the library. I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys sell?
Oh, the chicken store?
No, not the chicken store. That place is actually legit. Their food is fucking really good.
What a name, though.
Yeah, the chicken place.
You should name the jiu-jitsu store.
It's the chicken place. That's like what?
Fuck.
But it's
couldn't think of anything better?
It's Peruvian.
Oh,
It's
you know what? They got the market corner down there.
legit.
Peruvian
It's
food is delicious.
That place is real fucking good. There was another one right on Patchogue, but on 112, like a little north of McDonald's, but they're like in the middle of renovating it. I think it's the same owners. Same
Is that the
type of
turkey store?
place. Yeah. But yeah, like the little Spanish bodega that they pretty much only sell like prepaid phone cards and loose cigarettes. Like, how do you guys stay in business here?
I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, Patchogue is fucking insane now. I mean, you're gonna be right in the thick of it, man.
Yeah, I want to add to that, I want to bring value to that. I hope I can,
Well, it's good. You're adding something other than another bar or restaurant, which is fine.
Yeah.
Like I'm all for them adding
Sure.
more and more, but I feel like as other places, the cryo place, the float place, things like that, other things that are going to bring people to Patchogue other than just drinking and eating.
Yeah,
which
totally.
is important, but
I think that's whenever you open up a new business, I guess you have to go in front of, I guess it's the board.
the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, for the Village of Patchogue. And I kind of
You know
wasn't
them.
ready for that, but anyway, they were super excited about me bringing that to the village,
Yeah.
So again, like, just fortunate, and they were happy that I was kind of like hometown guy,
Right.
Right, yeah,
so
they
they really
love
like
that,
that.
yeah.
So
Yeah. And, the other thing, too, about it is it's that, like, you're highly accomplished in it, too. It's like, that brings a little bit of extra prestige. You're a hometown guy who's extremely accomplished in what you're opening. It's like, it adds a little bit of charm, and, Patchogue's all about that shit. So it's a good fit. I mean, you got to think that, you're going to, just the foot traffic alone, especially over the summer, man, you can, like, as Patchogue continues to grow, I wouldn't be shocked if, like, over the summer, Hampton's Jiu-Jitsu had, like, Conor McGregor dropping and shit like that. I wouldn't be surprised if you start having similar things, because Patchogue's starting to...
Patchogue is becoming a destination
Yeah,
for people.
like...
For sure.
Yeah. Even out-of-towners are like, it was always the Hamptons, and then sometimes, like either Babylon,
Bayshore.
Huntington, stuff like that. And now Patchogue is starting to become one of those places that if you're out of town,
it's one of the stops. If you come to Long Island for a vacation or anything like that, Patchogue is now one of the places that you
So
go.
over the summer, like, after our podcast blows up, when we drop in, really add value.
Patchogue I find as a real interesting village because I feel like right now they're going through they're going through a change of identity where it's sort of evolving from what we all remember it as kids and teenagers, which was the ghost town, to right now it's known as sort of like the bar restaurant haven.
Yep.
And people come in on Friday and Saturday nights, we'll go out to happy hour or we'll go out drinking and then or have dinner and then bar hop. And you haven't really seen it evolve past that, but now you're just starting to see the first bumps. I'm a mortgage broker, and you're just starting to see the first bumps in the residential real estate values start to go up. And 2-3 years ago, I flipped houses as well, and I would look and I would say, I can't believe Patchogue, the values aren't going up yet. The town is starting to pop off. Like things, it's going to be a place. It's going to be a place to live. And now this year in April was the first time we started seeing stuff like, I want to say in the under 350 range, all the prices went up significantly. I want to say in like the 15 to 20% range, where the rest of the island was just around 4%.
Wow.
And it hasn't even touched the higher end stuff. Like if you're looking at like the 400 to 450 plus range, that's
normal,
it's still sort of normal. It went up a little bit, maybe 7%, but not as much as the lower end stuff, which is all first time home buyers.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of 24 to like 35-year-old people influxing into Patchogue, so they're eating up all those houses that are, like Eric was saying, anywhere between like 2 to like 325 or so.
Yeah, like stuff that used to go for 2 is now like 270, which is insane.
Which means you could be like, listen, motherfuckers, I know you can live here. You can afford to pay your monthly packages, bitch. I know what the property costs around here.
All those people are going to be having children.
Yeah.
And you get that children's program on point.
Yeah.
Hopefully the parents will come down and train a little bit too.
Yeah. I think, I've gotten a lot of inquiries about the school opening so far. So, hopefully those turn into students, right?
Yeah.
But I think like you said, like at my school, of course, visitors are going to be welcome and things like that, and hopefully that'd be awesome if people came here and then stopped by and train, who are some high level guys. Obviously, I'm going to have my team come out. I'm so lucky that they're excited about this too, because I'm gonna need help with training and things like that. So I'm excited about it. I think Marcelo is going to be there for the grand opening and this and that.
Awesome.
So so a lot of them, and I mean Gianni, Mateos, Marcos, all those guys said they were going to come out, and I'm so blessed because they go around the world teaching seminars, getting paid thousands of dollars to do that, and just to have them support me and be a part of my team, like they're great group of guys and beasts on the mat. So I hope my students and people that come train with me can take advantage of that.
Oh yeah, dude, that adds tremendous value.
Yeah.
I mean, just anytime you have people that add value to a school, whether they're students or not, it adds value to your gym in general, because it, water seeks its own level. It just raises everything up. And if you have students that are there that are going to benefit from not only just you, but all your friends dropping in, it's another perk to the school. Like, as if the location and you aren't enough, that's an extra perk, and that's valuable, man. It's definitely valuable.
I hope, I don't know, like, man, if Marcelo comes to the grand opening and if other people come, I don't know. Bernardo's actually been kind of like a mentor to me a little bit throughout this process. He's very good with business, and I know he said he'll come and visit one day. So this grand opening might be crazy. I don't know. I don't want to hype it up and then it not meet expectations, but like I think it's gonna be great.
That's cool, man. So what's your plan for the school, like, in terms of, like, do you have like a curriculum? Like, what are you, like, are you modeling it around Marcelo's, or you have like your own vision or whatever? I mean, because so like for people that don't know or people that do know, you know, a lot of jiu-jitsu schools are pretty similar. Like, you know, you got your, you know, your jiu-jitsu curriculum. Some will have like a striking. Some have, you know, strength and conditioning, and you know, you show up, you do your warm-ups, you train.
Yeah.
Like, are you putting your own style to it, or are you mimicking off of like Marcelo's? Like, what's your plan?
I think for the beginners class and the fundamentals 1 classes, I think we have a really good curriculum at Marcelo's and with Alliance and stuff like that. So I'm probably going to keep that kind of status quo. But as far as the advanced classes, I'm probably going to mix in some of my own ideas. But, you know, the foundation of my training, the foundation of my knowledge and experience comes from Marcelo. So, of course, that's going to be, you know, the base. Yeah, exactly.
Are you looking to do strictly jiu-jitsu, or are you going to have like eventually like go into like striking, strength and conditioning stuff, or?
I don't know. I want to just do jiu-jitsu. I'm not against it potentially, you know, going down there, but you know, at first it's just me. It's just a one-man show. So
right.
And I don't feel comfortable teaching something that I don't consider myself like competent in, you know. So just gonna stay with jiu-jitsu for now, and then we'll see what the future brings.
So if you get guys, if you get guys that come down and hey, I want to fight too, then maybe as the demand grows, you.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I believe a lot in jiu-jitsu too. I see its potential, and I see how much it can grow and stuff like that. And you know, if my school can run just off that, and the students are happy with just that, then great. Sometimes I feel like, you know, one of the pitfalls of some places is they just kind of bring in anybody just to fulfill that role. So they bring in like a kickboxer or like a strength and conditioning coach who's like purple belt level, like in jiu-jitsu for comparison's sake. And it's just like you're selling like a watered down product, honestly. Right. No offense to those instructors, obviously, and you know, for certain areas that might make sense, but I want to keep quality high.
I'll offend them. It's wrong.
Yeah,
it's wrong, and it's disingenuous to the people that are training there, especially if they then sign up for a competition where you're getting your head punched.
Yep.
And they get their head punched in by a guy that trains with somebody that should be teaching.
Yeah.
Like it's terrible.
What if you have like a 15-year purple belt though?
Oh, dear.
That belt, I'm surprised it's
that's
still
not not in the restricted area either. I might put that on there.
He's a host.
I'm a good friend.
The good thing about jiu-jitsu is that, you know, you figure it out on the mat. So, you know,
yeah, that's true.
I can show where my value is on the mat. Maybe not to John, but
Go on.
To take it back to what you were mentioning earlier, you're going to stay strictly jiu-jitsu, at least in the beginning. I think that Brazilian jiu-jitsu is at a point now where it's just beginning to get into a phase or to reach the level of popularity that a school like that in New York on Long Island can be very successful. Yeah. Especially with somebody like you being at the helm, just because anybody that's super, super serious about the sport or super serious about anything that they do, like I'm one of those people that's 0 or 110.
Yeah, I can relate.
If I want to compete, like I don't compete in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I haven't competed in since 2010 because I've been doing MMA, and I'm not the type of person that I know that the sports have separated so much that if you have to do one or the other in order to be excellent, or in order for me to be where I would want to be with both of them, I can't do both.
Yeah.
So like when it comes back to me just doing jiu-jitsu again, I'll probably be at your school all the time.
Yeah, more than welcome.
And I think there's a lot of people on Long Island like that appreciate a gym with an instructor that's super focused and can bring them up to a level of proficiency that most other gyms aren't going to be able to.
Especially the way the competition scene's really like exploding in terms of grappling. Like there's a lot of shows coming out now that are strictly jiu-jitsu based, but they're very, very high level now. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's getting crazy.
You can compete every week in like a great tournament, whereas when I was competing in 2010, it was okay. We have the Pan Ams come here every other year, and then it's like, all right, the Naga Worlds, and you sort of eye roll a little bit. And then, I mean, realistically, unless you were flying around traveling, if you were just like New York or like Northeast based, there were maybe 2 or 3 tournaments a year
Yeah.
that were worthwhile to go to, especially if you were a higher belt. Because I stopped competing because I would show up at tournaments as a brown belt, and there weren't really many people to go against, especially as a heavier brown belt.
Yeah. No, I get that. And now, I remember when I first started, I think IBJJF just had one New York Open, and I think they just started doing Nogi Pan Ams, and now they have like 4 or 5 tournaments, I think. So
They're having a tournament. Naga's having a tournament on Long Island actually.
Next month.
wow.
Yeah, next month.
I just saw like a thing. I was like, "Whoa,
That's
there's a
kinda
tournament
cool.
on Long Island. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. We suffered for a while too because of the government, man. Like people didn't want to come here and put on tournaments because MMA was illegal and you couldn't do a mixed grappling event because of those rules. So like people didn't want to come here and put on tournaments. You couldn't even compete in jiu-jitsu.
There was a point when the New York State Athletic Commission
right,
actually
that's
tried to regulate jiu-jitsu tournaments. I
Yeah.
guess they were thinking they could make extra money on it, and I think it fell through because
Man,
you don't really
thank-
hear about them any
thank
longer.
God.
Speaking of which, you've competed all over the place, you know.
Yeah.
You gained your fame, you know, your accolades more through the IBGF tournaments. What's your like preferred competition like rule set and structure? Because I know you did Polaris, right?
Yeah.
You did Fight to Win.
I haven't done Fight to Win.
Oh, okay.
Done Polaris. I've done Cobo Podio. I've done some super fights in like Guatemala and in Canada and Abu Dhabi and all those other things like that.
What do you prefer?
Yeah, like what rule set do you like?
I don't know, man. I don't really prefer any of them, honestly, because they all have their flaws.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I don't think anyone has nailed this. Like, I remember doing a sub only in Polaris, and if you did the points, I beat the guy like it was like 28-2, and we both got our hand raised at the end of the match, and I'm just like, okay, like this is like because he just like balled up for, you know, I don't know, 70% of the fight. So
He competed to not lose.
Yeah.
right,
And it's real difficult to beat someone that's competing to not
Just
lose.
does not
Yeah.
get submitted.
Yeah.
Yeah. A black belt who's, you know, he's a good competitor, and you know, I don't want to talk trash about him, but I want to like knock the rule set. Do you know?
Right.
Well, because the rule set, in any rule set, people are going to take advantage of that rule set to their advantage the
They're
best
gonna
they
exploit
can.
it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. He's not necessarily doing anything wrong. He's
Right.
working inside the rule set,
Right.
but because he's doing that, he's trying not to lose as
Yeah.
opposed to going for the win.
Right.
Yeah.
If the points mattered, he'd open up trying to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like ADCC and IBJJF have a lot of potential, but I don't know if it's politics. I don't know if it's stubbornness. I don't know if it's them being naive or
Probably a little
blind
bit of all, probably a
or
little bit of all of
whatever.
it.
Yeah, and favoritism, who knows? But they have so much potential, but it seems like they don't do it. Whereas you look at a sport like I'm a big fan of like freestyle wrestling, and you look at a sport like that where they do everything they can to get the rules right, and they allow like replay on things, and they change the rules every year, but the rules actually make sense when they change the
Something
rules.
bad happens one year, they correct it for the next.
Exactly. Like they made some rule one year where it was like, okay, if it's tie score, we let the guy start on a single. Terrible rule, and they fixed it the next set around. Like, okay, we're not doing that anymore. Then they like allow replay, so like your coach can throw a block on the mat that signals you want to replay. Okay, I saw some jiu-jitsu tournament recently. Actually, it was with my teammate. So it was with Gianni. I think it was an Abu Dhabi tournament, and they're doing a lot. The World Pro people are trying hard to get jiu-jitsu in the Olympics. But anyway, Gianni was competing, and it was cool because this tournament had replay, right? But the thing was, Gianni had something like a close call happen in the match with the out of bounds line, which they need to. That's one criticism I have of the rules. They need to get that sorted out. But a close call came to the match happened on the out of bounds line, and they didn't replay challenge it until the end of the match. It happened at like the 3-minute mark, and they didn't replay challenge it until the end of the match. So it was almost like, honestly, if you look from the outside, it's like, what's going on here? And it's just like you don't give the athletes a chance to adapt. You stop the clock. You do your replay like any other sport. Imagine in football they were like, challenge a play back in the first quarter and the game's over. Like that's what it was.
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
And
what's the point then?
And to make it even worse, after the call didn't get reversed, they're like, let's challenge another call. And to me, that's like when I'm just like raise my eyebrows and I'm just like,
What are they looking for?
something's going on here.
This is fishy.
Something's going on here. And so
Home cooking.
yeah. And so it's just like man, thankfully they didn't find anything and Johnny won the match and all was well, but I saw it in his face like that's a terrible thing as an athlete, feeling like you don't have control and you work so hard and to get there, and you know like to me that's just common sense, right? That's just the no-brainer that if you're going to have replay, which is a great idea, you do it on the spot, or you give the athletes or their coaches the ability to do it.
So, what have you enjoyed the most? Like, which tournament was the most enjoyable then?
Oh man, I don't know. I can't even think about it. I can't even think about it. Some tournaments too, it like depends on the ref. So it's not even the rule set. Sometimes the reffing is just inconsistent.
That's a major problem from what I've heard as well.
Yeah, it's like this guy calls this guy calls that, and it's just like, and I know the refs have a tough job. I'm not trying to like come down on them, but we just need a little bit more
consistency.
Yeah, and clearly defined boundaries.
So as the competitor, then, what does that do for you? Like, what? So how does that affect how you compete? Then, like, what's in your mind then? Like, you like because you know
don't
the
reap
rule
the
set.
knee, don't reap the knee. Is that like and going through your head all the time?
No,
like,
I think the refs know that.
How do you approach it then? Like, what do you look for? Like, do you just try to stick to one certain thing because the rule sets change from here to there? Is it so? Is you just like your job is just always like fuck it, just get the submission no matter what?
No, like as a black belt, my strategy had to change completely. And it's kind of sad. Like sometimes I look at matches when I was a pro belt, and I was like, man, I was rash it. Like I would just go at it. and like as a black belt now, it's like you can't do that. I remember, you know. I remember so many times in a match, like it usually has to do with the out of bounds line, at least for me, for my game. I'm sure people have different struggles with their own games within the rule set and the problems that arise from that. But for me, it's usually the out of bounds line, and like sometimes I have to think like I can't sweep right now. Like I can't come up on this X guard or sweep or whatever because the line's right there. I gotta rotate myself to the center or wait for the ref to bring us back to the center. I kind of even like look at the ref and see if he's like, I'm like, buddy, come on, bring it back to the center. You know, because it's the difference between getting no points or nothing at all or maybe an advantage versus 2 points. And that changes the whole match at a high level at black belt, you know, so.
There's a lot more on the line too.
So are they inconsistent with how that works? Like if you're getting close to the line or you're on the line, like is there a rule that they have to bring you back, or is it just sort of like it's up to their discretion? Like
no, it's completely their discretion.
It's totally subjective.
Yeah,
I remember I did a super fight thing years ago, probably like 8 years ago, and it was in a ring, and I hit a butterfly sweep and I swept the kid over and he hit the ropes and bounced off into side control on me.
Oh my goodness!
And I ended up losing the match because of that. Like they gave him points for a pass.
Right.
You know, I'm like, what the fuck?
I don't know. See, that's well with the ring and with the cage it's different because then I guess you got to go in there asking like, is that in bounds? Is that I don't know, but
yeah, it's like it didn't even cross my mind until it happened.
That's
I was like,
the whole
what the
point.
fuck?
But you saw it cost you the match, and so you can imagine like how big of a deal that is. You know, because you've experienced it and something like that, okay, a super fight in a ring, like that's kind of a unique circumstance. But we're talking about IBJJF tournaments and these other organizations that
hundreds of matches are going on each day.
Each day, you can
There has
correct
to be
these things. Why
some
can't you
level of
correct these
consistency.
things?
Yeah.
You know?
It's not like they don't have the resources either at this point. Like they're a big organization. They're
And it's not like you have a small sample size. Like,
Yeah.
You have hundreds of matches to figure out the rule set. Like you should kind of have this under
I-
control at this point.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Just because you're involved with that sport, I'm more heavily involved with MMA. I've worked for aside from the UFC, I've worked for every major show that's been around in the last 10 years, like Strikeforce, Glory. Now we work for the PFL, Bellator,
That's awesome.
and I'm not knocking or naming any specific event when I say this, but what I will say is certain referees are brought in to do certain matches where sometimes strange calls are made.
Yeah.
Now, is this something that you'd see with the IBJJF or with other jiu-jitsu type tournaments as well? Like, oh, that's that referee. I have to be careful with that guy.
It's not specific to organization, so I don't want to call organization out for that. And like I said, each organization has their issues. Like we're just talking about IBJJF, probably because that's the most tournaments that I do.
It's the largest too.
Problems with rules with everything.
Right.
We point out the rules with Polaris, but as far as
the referee's not being subjective, more or less, across the board.
There's no continuity.
Man, I've seen it happen, and can I be honest with you? I don't want to go into any specifics, put that on the restrictions, but like I've seen it happen in my favor also.
Okay.
And it's messed up.
Do you feel like it was just like?
I feel like I need to take a bath after that or something. Like,
really?
Yeah. Like,
you feel? You must feel horrible.
More
like
when I'm coaching, not when I'm, So let's leave that at that.
But see, like that's good perspective though, because at least you're not. You see it on both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
And if you can see like, hey man, I've been on the bad end of this and I've been on the beneficial end of this, and they both suck.
Yep.
Like that's a lot of impetus to want to fix something.
I think some of it's also a cultural thing, to be honest. I think, my experience with Brazilians is for the most part they're very loyal people, and that's a good thing, but it also has a dark side to it.
That's been the knock for a long time. I've heard stuff like that about
like
these tournaments.
You have to crank somebody's head off in order to be able to win.
Yeah, thankfully it's not that bad. I think it's getting better. I really do believe that that's something that's over my career. I can honestly see has gotten better and it's still getting better. But every now and again, it's still
that's the expansion of jiu-jitsu too. You know what I'm saying? Because now
more eyes are on it.
Not only that, but there's also now a lot more types of people doing jiu-jitsu. Yeah. It used to be 10, 11 years ago, most of the black belts were a lot of Brazilians.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of Brazilian. There's a lot of American black belts. Right. There's a lot of European black belts. So it's like,
And that's the thing too. The only reason why I saw the benefit too, and this is why it's never an excuse. I'm never going to teach my students that because that's the way Marcelo was with me. It's never an excuse to lose for the referee because at the end of the day, I was still able to get some sort of things accomplished in this sport. I'm not like Marcelo. I'm not like that, but I've done some things, and in a way, like the only reason why I've experienced that beneficial side that we spoke about is because of that, right? Because the rest know who I am now.
You're established yourself.
Yeah, and so.
It's like LeBron James when he plays basketball. Yeah, he's going to get all the foul calls going his way because he's fucking LeBron James.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Everyone's watching him when he's on the court.
Right. Yeah. And no matter what it is, like you're going to have that in every single sport. Whether it's baseball and the umpires, they know, okay, this guy calls high strikes, this guy calls ball outside.
There's merit to your accomplishments.
And if you're a name, you're going to get the benefit, especially if they miss something. Yeah. And it's.
Yeah. Look at Floyd Mayweather when he fights. Right. Floyd Mayweather will not fight unless he is the A side, unless everything is tailored to him. We're going to fight in a ring my size of choice.
Yeah. I'm picking the judges.
He's picking the judges. He's picking the referee. He's picking the glove sizes. He's picking the ring. He's because. Yeah. But why is he allowed to do that? Because he's Floyd fucking Mayweather. Because he was he accomplished everything. So there's you
have mixed feelings about it. But.
Yeah, but there's something to be said for that. Whether it's right or wrong is a whole other story, but there is something to be said for that. So so what do you think about combat jiu-jitsu?
I don't like it. I'm just being honest. I don't like it.
No,
the reason why I don't like it is because it's just do MMA. Then I don't know. No.
I mean, I can see that argument. I can see it.
I like it. If we're gonna do it, let's do it. Like that's like kind of what Eric says. Like,
agreed.
I don't not understand where you come from, but I dig it because I feel like it's a cool intermediary.
Okay.
It's a cool intermediary. It's cool for guys like me and Eric who are aging out of the MMA.
That's cool then.
Okay. We are aging out of it. I'm about to age out.
Yeah. We're kind of aging out, so like every now and then if I want to smack somebody, I can do a combat jiu-jitsu match and maybe
that's cool.
Feel good about it and not leave with a concussion.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from now. I just don't think.
See, that's what this podcast is all about.
I just don't think it's like.
It's something good to say, like, oh, I've never trained martial arts before, but I would like to do combat jiu-jitsu to start.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. It doesn't feel 100% right.
You're a purist, I understand that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you're going to do jiu-jitsu, do jiu-jitsu. If you're going to fight, fight.
Yes.
I understand that.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah. But I can understand
Like,
why
it's not
if
even
you did
punching,
both.
it's slapping.
Right. I can understand why if you did both, though, that, and then one day you wanted to just, like you said, like,
I'm tired of getting my nose
and that's
broken,
fine.
John.
Then I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm scared to get hit in the face.
That answers my next question. I was going to say, did you ever have any designs on ever fighting MMA? But I guess not.
Maybe when I first started jiu-jitsu, but not anymore.
No.
Yeah, it's not for me. I think it takes a special kind of person to do that.
You look
There's
like,
something a
look,
little
looks,
wrong with
looks
us.
like you wanted to say crazy person.
Yeah.
I saw it in your eyes, John.
Some a little off with us. I'll admit it.
I don't mean like off. I just mean I don't know. It's just,
Listen, let's be honest about a couple things, right? Even in jiu-jitsu.
yeah.
You're not normal if you do jiu-jitsu either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there's not. Think about all right.
The average person,
think so.
the average person would not do what we would consider to be like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu workout,
Yeah.
get done,
Yeah.
and be like, oh, that was fun.
And be like, oh, you pay for that?
Yeah, and
What
they
the fuck
definitely
is wrong
wouldn't
with
do it 3 to 6 days a week. Like most people, they
Yeah.
like go to the gym. And they're like, oh man, I put work in today. I went on the elliptical and then I ran 2 miles.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, that was it. That was me accomplishing something for the day. Not like,
Yeah.
oh, I fought with another man that trains to fight other men.
Don't think you're any less crazy
I-
than us, John, because you're crazy.
I understand where you're coming from, but maybe the average person has something else niche or weird or something like that they
You know what
that
it is?
they do.
This is we've been doing it for so long, it's normalized to you.
Mm.
And also,
Maybe.
you live in the bubble that you're not aware of because your girlfriend does jiu-jitsu too.
That's true.
Right? So-
Fiance now.
Fiance, sorry, yeah, fiance.
Congrats.
Congrats.
thanks,
Yeah,
thanks.
but so like my girlfriend, for instance,
Yeah.
she tells me all the time. She's like, you need to get normal friends. She's like, because you don't understand. Like the other day, I was making a joke. I'm like, I'm a little bit out of like, I'm not in the best shape I could be for myself. And I was like, making a joke, and she's like, are you fucking retarded?
Yeah.
She's like, you think that's out of shape? She's like, you're retarded. I was
That's
like, I
true.
am. She's like, you need normal friends. She's like, because
Yeah.
all your friends are guys that are in shape, that train, and top level athletes, and this and that. She's like, that's not normal. She's like, if
Yeah.
you look at a normal person, they don't compare.
Right.
And like,
but
so.
that's the problem. Is that shouldn't be normal. Like,
Well,
our
that's a whole
normal
nother
should be-
conversation.
But I don't know, like, okay, so I actually have a couple friends, maybe more than a couple friends who don't do jiu-jitsu, believe it or not, and I really value them for their outside perspective on things, and sometimes it's easy to get caught in this, like, small, because jiu-jitsu really is its own world, and,
It's a bubble.
you know, and especially being so heavily invested in it, if something goes wrong, then it feels like the whole world's coming to an end for you, and having those friends outside have kind of, like, kept me afloat.
Yeah, for
whatever
sure.
you want to call it.
But like I said,
But let me just finish.
No.
They also, like I said, like, for example, I can think of a couple of my friends, like, okay, my one friend is like really into movies. My other friend plays guitar. Like, so they have their thing. Is my point.
That they
but
obsess
that's not
over.
crazy.
Okay.
But now that you're
I'm trying to.
and now
guys.
that your gym is opening up in town, they're all going to be doing jujitsu.
Also, how many of your
maybe.
friends have you converted?
yeah, I think every one of my friends is
Oh,
converted.
man,
every
yeah, a
single person
couple.
I'm friends
Me too.
with
Just
Yeah.
about.
now does
I have a
Brazilian
handful
jiu-jitsu.
that don't,
Right.
but like I've got a lot of people on board lately over the
Maybe
years.
I'm gonna keep those friends and be like, you're not
You're
allowed
not
to train.
Yeah, you're not allowed to train.
But really, like I said, if you stop and think about it,
Yeah.
you know, yes, it takes a different type of person to want to fight and things like
Yes.
that. But it also takes a different kind of person to want jiu-jitsu.
That's true.
Think about how
That's
long
true.
you've been training. How many people have you seen come and go, wash
Yeah,
out?
A lot. I remember I have this. It's funny what sticks out in your mind, right? I remember being a blue belt and somebody like
That's the quitter belt.
yeah. I remember being a blue belt and somebody like leaving the gym. I don't even think they were like quitting jiu-jitsu, but I think they ended up quitting jiu-jitsu. It's the funny part. But somebody leaving the gym, like they were visiting for like a really long time, and me like going out to lunch like with Marcelo like the next day and the guys, and just be like, man, I'm so sad that person's leaving. And Marcelo just looks at me and he's like, John, people are gonna come and go all the time, and he's like, you gotta get used to that. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, Dang, that's cold, but like
But
it's so true. Yeah.
Especially think about, dude, jiu-jitsu is hard, man. It's not for everybody. And like, so think about I'm going on my 12th year. You're probably in the same vein. So
12, I'm going on my 12th probably. Yeah.
To think about what it takes to do that day in, day out, especially at the level you're doing it at. Yeah. Not a lot of people are doing that. Think about how many people come and go and wash out. Like it's hard to stay with it. It takes a special kind of person to do that too.
Yeah.
So you're crazy too.
Okay.
But in a good way. In a good way.
But the best possible way.
That blue belt, you
a
said,
compliment.
the blue belt, the make or break. How many guys, especially like young, like, I don't want to call them wannabe tough guys, because I feel like if you get a blue belt, you stuck around a little bit
still
long
an accomplishment.
enough. But like most people, I feel like most men that I know, if you get a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, you train 2-3 years, you're going to be fairly confident in your ability to take out like any average human being if there was a conflict.
Yeah.
And I feel like many people, for them, their journey with martial arts is just that. Like, I want to be able to handle myself. Like, it might not be a lifelong commitment for them, but maybe they just want to be able to feel like they can protect themselves if necessary.
Right.
And as far as martial arts go, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, if you do Jiu-Jitsu for 2 years and you're training 2 or 3 days a week, I mean, you're going to be pretty tough compared to the
average Joe.
The average Joe.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just enough for them, and then there's the group of people that just love the evolution of the sport, love the camaraderie.
It's crazy when you think about it too.
The exercise. We just stick around.
You could take a hobbyist, like you said, a hobbyist guy who trains for 2-3 years, 3 times a week, gets his blue belt. That guy, to your average Joe, is going to be pretty competent, right? And then you can go higher up the chain, right? You could have guys like you and I, who for the better part of 12 years have been training 5-6 days a week, pretty competent, pretty good. And then I roll with John, and I'm like, I might as well not even know jiu-jitsu.
I know. Last time I rolled with you, I think we were purple belts, and I was like, oh, this motherfucker outweighing by like 50 pounds. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. I can't do anything that I want to do, and all I'm doing is trying not to let you submit me the whole time. This is ridiculous.
But it's just crazy, because it's like that. It just shows you how crazy it is. Yeah, man. Like, so that average Joe against average blue belt guy, it's like night and day. Average blue belt guy is like a god to that guy, and then it's like I'm like pretty good. So me against like average blue belt guy, I can kill that guy.
Yeah.
And then
we don't even have to think about it.
And then I roll like again. I said like you roll with some guys. Like I roll with John, and I feel like I could. It's the same thing if I never did a day of jiu-jitsu in my life.
Come on.
You know. And then like
be a white belt.
you know, but then there's the same thing. Then there's black belts who make other black belts look like white belts as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like holy shit.
Yeah. There's levels.
It's crazy.
There are levels, and the level between just like a general black belt, I feel, or somebody that doesn't compete, and then somebody that actively competes and places in the big tournaments, I feel like there's almost as big of a gap in it just within the black belt range as there is between, I'll say, brown belt and white belt almost,
100%.
or brown belt and blue belt.
100%. I think so. I would agree with that.
It's tremendous, just because like I know just on like I weigh 215 right now, and I know that like I can't beat somebody that's world class level in jiu-jitsu that probably weighs like 125 or 135 pounds. Like I'm not,
Bruno or something.
Yeah, like I'm there's no way I'm beating that guy.
Yeah.
There's no way, no way.
No.
And it's bizarre because I've been training a long time, but just to see like the gaps that can exist, it's like anything. It's like I always give the comparison for MMA. People will be like, "Oh, my friend, he's got it. He's real good at fighting," and I'm like, I don't know, man. And it'll be like, it's like you drive a car, right? Do you think you're going to get in there? If I give you a NASCAR, are you going to get in the Pepsi Cola NASCAR and go race Dale Earnhardt Jr.? No, you're not. It ain't happening. But like with jiu-jitsu, it's like the same thing. Like you think you compete like 3 days, you train 3 days a week, you're going to beat some guy that lives this?
No.
Isn't happening.
It's not happening at all. You're not only you're not going to beat them, you're not even going to be competitive.
No.
It's like I said, you might as well have never done a day of jiu-jitsu in your life.
I think though that's why it's good that there are so many more tournaments now, because you kind of can feel out the level of the tournament, and it's still good that like I don't want to say they're like lower level tournaments, but let's be honest, like that's what they are. That there are those tournaments like around there, so people who do jiu-jitsu you know, just a couple times a week or whatever, can still go there and have a good experience.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
that's what jiu-jitsu is growing so much, and
There's a place for everyone.
yeah, that's what I want to have at my school too. Like, I'm calling it peak jiu-jitsu because I want everybody to like reach their potential, reach their peak, but what that means for them, not just like in the sport. Like,
Right.
I know not everybody's going to be, you know,
Not
high
everyone's going to
level.
be a world-class black
Yeah.
belt, but
Yeah.
Well,
doesn't
that's
mean
the
that you
beauty.
can't-
Yeah.
That's the beauty of jiu-jitsu, is that it's a very intense individual.
It's personal.
Yeah, and you can absolutely make it what you want it to be.
Yeah.
You know, and like I always think about, for me, when I first started, I wanted to do jiu-jitsu literally just to learn how to fight.
Yeah.
You know, and then you got guys like my brother, for example. My brother started when he was, 44 years old. To him, jiu-jitsu is an outlet. It keeps him in shape, and it's something for him to learn, and it helps him feel young again.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my brother's.
Probably helps him in his life
Yeah,
too.
he loves jiu-jitsu for that reason. You
Yeah.
know, he's not trying to compete or beat anybody up. He's not looking in those terms, but what he gets out of it,
Yeah.
the value, is the same. I feel like as what
Yeah.
I get out of it, and probably what you
Sure.
get out of it. You know, it's
Sure.
like that's the. I've said this too many times, especially on this podcast, but jiu-jitsu is the best thing,
Yeah.
and the best thing
Yeah.
in my life, hands
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. It's special for sure.
You know, I mean, look what it's done for every one of us in this room.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right.
You know, like.
You're right.
Last week, we had our buddy Chris Moline on the podcast, and he's a ref for the Triton event. And me and Eric trained with him when we first started years ago.
He does all MMA,
Yeah,
kickboxing,
yeah.
Cool.
not just like
Combat
the train
sports,
event, but
yeah.
just like all
Yeah.
anything with punching and kicking.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I said to him, like, man, it's so crazy when I think about when I first started there, like, that, man, all these years later, Eric and I have not only fought for that promotion, now we're doing the commentary for it.
Yeah.
And we've also got to go all around the country working at all these other fight events. And,
Yeah.
I get to work at the bar and hang out with you and do jiu-jitsu there and all my other friends and this podcast and all that stuff. It's all because of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you got to go around
Right.
the world, compete,
You're
make
right.
money. You met your future wife. You
Yeah.
can open a school, and
Yeah.
it's all because of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Jiu-jitsu gave me everything, but I think it's because I gave everything to that. You know,
You get what you
it's-
put into
it's
it,
a
yeah.
reciprocal relationship kind of a thing, or I try to put a lot into it. So I'm, lucky and also fortunate that it just worked out.
Well, dude, you put a lot of hard work into it.
Yeah, but still, there's a lot of. It's not just
This fucking guy's
hard,
too humble,
hard work.
too modest, too modest, man. That's why we're here. I'm here to brag for you.
Thanks. Gotta keep you around then.
D-Rock's your new hype man.
At the end of your classes, I'll just go up front and be like, "So John's awesome. He's really happy you guys came.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
He doesn't really want to talk, but I'll do it for him."
That's good.
But jiu-jitsu, we wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
You know,
No, you're right.
none of us would be friends.
You're right.
So it's cool.
You're
And,
right. It's. I don't know. It's undescribable. Like, it's just a good feeling. You just feel blessed.
Yeah.
Like with all that.
and you're just getting started too, man. That's the cool thing about it. You got a whole. You've already done a lot, but you got a whole.
Another chapter.
Yeah, man. That's
new
cool.
chapter, yeah.
That's real cool.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a lot of different challenges and stuff like that. I'm sure. Some guys have success when they open a school, and there's, I guess, like anything though, you just gotta figure it out. I'm still gonna try to go into the city like once a week just to get my butt kicked by all those guys. Maybe twice a week. We'll see. But for the most part, I'm gonna be here. I wanna be with my students. I wanna be the one who's doing the teaching. And not just be a name that's attached to something theoretically. I don't want to be that person that's not.
That's not
You'll be
you.
hands-on
Yeah,
involved.
that's not you.
Yeah.
Listen, man. I have no doubt in my mind that you'll be successful. Like I said, I've known you a long time, man,
thank
and anybody who's accomplished the things you've accomplished, you know what it takes. You know what hard work is, and you're not. I don't see you not being successful.
Thank you, man. Thank
and I think anybody that decides to train at your school is going to reap the benefits of it, man, for sure.
Yeah, I hope so.
So give people. How can people stay in contact? Like keep up on when the school's opening, when you're competing.
So right now we're doing like pre-opening sign up on the website. It's peakjj.com. And I think if you go to the website right away, like a box will pop up asking you for your name and your email. Just put your name and email in that, and you'll be subscribed, and you'll be eligible to receive like our memberships at like a discounted rate, and the first week of training when we open free. So, and it's no like commitment. So if you want to train that first week free, you can train, and if you didn't like it or didn't enjoy it, then no hard feelings kind of a thing. And so that's a special that I would take advantage of, and since you're subscribed, you'll get all the updates to the progress of the academy as we're doing like the renovations and stuff like that. And we have Instagram too. My Instagram is JT Satava, and the school's Instagram is Peak Jiu-Jitsu, right? So you can check out either of those places for social media updates and when maybe I'll be competing or teaching seminars and things like that.
Right on. And we'll put out some stuff for you too, like when the time comes. We'll make sure that we put out some posts and keep the word circulated.
Awesome.
So if you for some reason don't listen to the end of this podcast and you're looking for ways to keep up, we'll make sure that we keep the plug, and John's a friend of ours, so for sure we're going to be down there.
Yeah, please. Gotta get you guys there. I need some good training. So.
Oh, I can't promise that for you, but I mean I'll be there.
We'll come and get beat up.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean I'll come and like help you sweat. So dude, thank you. I'm glad you came.
Me too. It's an honor being here. Thanks for being patient with me and
sure.
Yeah, it's great. Hopefully it can come back when you guys have a really nice space here, and seems like you guys are going to do a video soon or something like that. Maybe I'll dress nicer for it. I'm still in like my work clothes. I'm actually going to go back to the gym after this. My cousin and a couple of my friends are over there. Shout out to my cousin Adam and Jeremy over there working there, while I'm doing a podcast.
Well, listen, when you're ready to open, whenever you want to come back, you're more than welcome to come back. And if
maybe we'll come do an on-site from.
That would be so great. We can train and then do
absolutely
something.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Awesome.
We can funnel in.
We can train and record at the same time.
Okay.
Switch on and off. People doing rolls.
Yeah, let's do something.
We could definitely do something like that. And whenever you want to come back, man, you're always more than welcome
thanks,
to.
Guys, thank you.
Especially now you're right down the road.
Yeah. Why not, right?
So basically, you're stuck.
Worst places to be stuck, I guess.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap this bitch up. Make sure you check John out. Check out the school.